Tuesday, July the 9th, 2019. My name is Roy DeBerry. We're in the Office of North Mississippi Rural Legal Services. We're in the process of conducting oral histories about the history of this organization, which goes back about 50 years. With us are Morgan Kataridi, Caleb Hall, Justin Gary, Ryan Parrish, Dylan McKayla, Peyton Tackett, Dayton Shigog, Alexis Miller, Mary Moore, Sarah Tucker. Also with us is Jenny Kilgore, April Grayson. I think Leah is out at the moment. We're speaking with Ms. Gloria Bogan, who has been involved with this organization for a number of years. Would you just sort of start off, Gloria, by telling us who you are, where you're from, where you grew up?
My name is Gloria Bogan. I grew up in a little town called Lamar, Mississippi. I am the daughter of Odell and Katie Hampton. I have started with legal services January the 1st, 1970, 49 years.
You mentioned Lamar, Mississippi, so you went to what was the name of the school?
I attended school, finished school at Old Salem High School in Ashland, Mississippi.
Did you do any additional college work?
Yes, I did some college work at down at Jackson State in Jackson.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about what life was like growing up in Lamar, Mississippi, which I guess is just north of Olive Spring.
It's just a little small town with, I guess maybe 15 or 20,000 people lived there. So it's just we had like one little country store and a post office.
We had talked earlier with some other people we interviewed about this whole integration thing. Can you explain to us, talk to us a little bit about your experience as, I know that the Supreme Court decision in 1954 demanded that schools become desegregated. Some were slow, some decided to just kind of slow walk it. What was your experience with desegregation there in Benton County in the 60s, or did you go to an all-black school?
I went to an all-black school when they segregated. I really, that was my last year I finished. I never did attend the segregated school. That was two schools. I stayed at Old Salem, where some of them went to Ashland, graduated from Ashland High. But I stayed at Old Salem, which was an all-black school.
Did you have any siblings to go to the school after that?
Yes, I had 6 sisters and 2 brothers to go there to Ashland.
Do you recall any of their experiences that they talked to you about what it was like for them to go to Ashland?
Well, they did not. They all seemed to get along with everybody, but they did mention that there was times when there was some prejudice there, but they just like ignored it and went on.
What kind of examples of
for example, they said, there was people seemed like they didn't like them, they was talking behind their back and a little group kind of gathered, but they kind of like I say, just ignored it and went on. There was no big fight or nothing during that time.
You went to Jackson State, or did you stay at Jackson State the whole 4 years?
No, I just took some classes there.
Okay,
No.
And then you came back. Did you get involved with legal services after you returned back
Yes.
to Jackson State? Did you do
Right.
anything else?
Right.
What else did you engage in?
I engaged with legal services. I never were involved directly in the segregation out there that was going on, but I was in office like taking messages, and there was people like Henry Boyd, Skip Robinson, and all of them was involved, in activity that was going on out in the community. And when I say involved, there was problems going on with people's registering. There was problems going on with people receiving Social Security. And like I say, I never went out there to try to solve the problem, but I always stayed in the office, take messages for them, write down the problems, what kind of problem they was having, and deliver the message when they came back into the office.
You were one of the founding mothers, in other words, you were around when the organization was just getting founded. So, you mentioned Henry Boyd, you mentioned Skip Robinson. You mentioned Lewis Myers, we talked earlier.
Right.
Wilhelm Joseph. Can you just sort of individually tell us about these people for the record so future generation will know? Let's start with Henry
Okay, Henry Boyd was a paralegal. He started before I did. I think he started when the program first started. He started back, I think, in 68, and I started in 70. Henry started when the program was first organized, I think. He was a paralegal. He helped people with, like I say, Social Security, get registered, and he just was an all-around person out there in the community, involved in the community, that was helping people that couldn't help themselves.
When you said paralegal, that didn't mean they had to go to law school, right?
No.
So the job of a paralegal was primarily to do what?
Paralegal was when you go out, you handle Social Security cases that didn't have to go to court, just went to like judge, what kind of court that? Not justice court, fair hearings and stuff to the Social Security office.
Okay. What about Skip Robinson?
Skip was the director. He was the manager of United League of Marshall County. He was over that. United League was an organization that got involved with civil rights movements and stuff like that. And when I say civil rights movement, he go out, help people that was having problems voting and things like that.
Describe for us, though, give us a picture of Skip. What was he like?
Skip was a man that's brave, wasn't afraid, handled problem, wasn't afraid to tackle big problem. And when I say big problem, if the person was having problem registered, Skip was a person that didn't mind going to the courthouse, checking out why that person couldn't register or whatever. And he was a person that would make sure that he would help that person or those people register to vote.
Okay. You mentioned Lewis Myers.
Lewis Myers was an attorney with North Mississippi Rural Legal Services. At that time, legal services wasn't restricted to certain cases when Lou Myers was around. And when I say wasn't restricted to certain cases, we could handle legal services could handle any kind of case, whether it was criminal or whatever. And he was a lawyer criminal lawyer, he would handle any kind of case. He was a very, very good lawyer.
Where was Lewis from?
He was originally, I think, from Chicago, but at that time he was staying here in Oxford.
Okay. You say you could handle all the cases at the time that Lewis was there. When did the change occur in terms of not being able to handle certain kind of cases?
I don't remember what year it was, and I don't know why, but what I'm hearing, from what I heard, in my understanding, that there was private attorneys that was kicking against legal service, because at that time, everybody was coming to legal service. Legal services, it was just overwhelming with people. They were handling criminal cases, because I remember Lou handling a murder case. I attended that case, and he won that case. So people was coming to legal service for all type of case, and that from what I'm hearing, or what I heard, that most private attorneys was against that because they wasn't getting in the business. Legal service was getting all of the business. So I don't know, but like I say, from what I heard, that's when the corporation, I don't know how they get involved with the private attorney, but the corporation started giving us, they put a restriction on a certain type of case we could handle.
Okay. Wilhelm Joseph, when did you first?
Now, Wilhelm Joseph, I didn't have much. He was just, I remember him, he became, I don't know what year, but he was director of the program at one time.
James Minor, was James Minor ever involved with legal service?
Yes, James Minor was my man. At that time, we had an office there in Holly Springs, and James Minor was the manager attorney of the Holly Springs office.
Tell us about James.
He was a quiet, very good attorney. real nice person. Then I can't remember him. I don't know, was he out involving people, but he was helping people as much as he could. He was in just, lawyer, good lawyer.
At the outset, how many offices were there?
At that time, legal service used to have, I think, like 11 offices.
Can you describe where they were?
They was in Holly Spring, Clarksdale, Tupelo, West Point, Grenada, Lexington, Greenwood, Greenville, and did they have? They didn't have one in Tunica. We just had outreach in Tunica.
Okay, so you had what, 11?
It was 11 offices.
Okay. Do you know? I know you worked. You say you worked in the office initially as a paralegal. Did you have?
Well, I just worked as a secretary.
Right. Did you have any access to the budget?
To the budget? No.
Right. So you didn't know much.
No, I didn't have anything to the budget. There was another secretary. She did the budget. Betty Withers.
Okay. We all have influences on our life, when we grow up in terms of school and what have you. What person or persons had the greatest influence? And this could be people within legal services, or it could have been people prior to legal services. Could have been people at Jackson State. Could have been people at Old Salem. Were there people or a person that had the most influence on your life in terms of turning you in the direction that you went in?
Yes, my teachers at Old Salem.
Tell who they were.
L.T. Hicks, his sister, Miss Hicks, Mrs. Norwood. First name I can't remember now, but L.T. Hicks had a great influence. He was influencing me to keep, further my education. He kept telling me, because during that time, my parents did not have an education because they were sharecropping. They had to work in the fields.
And explain to the people what sharecropping is.
They had to work in the field for the white people's, plowing, chopping, cotton, and doing. And we actually, myself, I flunked a year. I didn't, because I had to stay home and see to the babies. My mother was having babies, and I had to stay home and see to the baby. But LT just kept coming on, kept telling me, come on, just keep going, Even when I did not pass that year, because I was babysitting, my mother and father, had to work. They had to work in the field and stuff. But I kept going until he just kept influencing me to come on. No matter how old you are, Gloria, come on to get your education. So LT was a big influence on me.
Anybody else?
Then later on, my parents, my grandfather, because my grandfather kept saying, kept telling my parents, she need to go and get her education. So it was like my grandfather and my teacher.
Okay. You mentioned that you've been with legal services 49 years.
Yes.
I think legal services about 50 years. Is that right, Jenny?
If I live to see January 1st, I will be with legal service 50 years.
Do you remember the first day you walked into legal services? Do you remember who hired you? You mentioned Mr. Boyd, but who?
Yes, he was there. But the first person, when I walked into legal services, it was in Holly Springs, and the guy that was the manager attorney there was Warren Cox.
By the way, Mr. Cox is still alive, by the way. Isn't he?
I don't know. Is it Jenny? Have you heard? Is Warren still alive?
I'm not sure. I know he was with the EEOC.
Right.
I met him, I think, in D.C.
Okay, because the last I heard, he was in Jackson. He was staying in Jackson.
Yeah, he was staying in Jackson. Mm-hmm. Yes, I think he's still alive, by the way. So
okay.
Anyway, tell us about
but Warren was the
nice
person that hired me. Very good person, nice personality. He believed in you doing your work, and he was a really good attorney. He would try his best, whatever he could do to help the poor people, he was there for them.
So was he one of the first directors, Mr. Cox?
Well, I don't know. He was the one. I don't know whether he was the first. Well, I'm pretty sure he was, because he hired Betty. Betty was hired before I were. So I'm pretty sure that James, as far as I know, he was the first manager attorney there.
Okay.
Was Warren Cox.
That was before Lewis.
Yes.
Okay. Jenny, you want to ask a question about Ms. Quarles?
Gloria, do you remember knowing Miss Mildred quarrels during the early years?
Yes, I remember. I didn't have no direct contact with her no more. When we go to meetings and stuff like that, and I met Miss Cora then. Yes.
What, any memories you have of
Yes, I do.
some of
Miss
the
Cora
things
was
that
a
you did?
person, very outstanding person. She was well known in the community. Uh, Miss Cora was out there. She was a paralegal in the Oxford office, and she would get out there and try to help the peoples. She was a very outstanding person.
Did we have a person equivalent to Miss Qualls in Holly Springs? Or
Yes,
any other areas?
Henry Boyd.
Okay. Any other areas that you recall? Do you had a Miss Qualls like at every
Um,
site?
no, because like I say, I didn't know Miss Quarrel that good, that much, that well, except when we go to meetings or come to staffer meetings, and I met Miss Quarrel. But I know she was outstanding in the community out there, along with Henry Boyd, Skip Robinson, all the rest of them. Very well-known peoples out there in the community.
You mentioned my father worked with you a little bit as well.
Yes, he
Tell
was.
us
He
about
was.
that.
Mr. DeBerry was on the board for North Mississippi Rural Legal Services. Very outspoken person, very nice person.
Well, thank you. What are some important things that you worked on at North Mississippi Rural Legal Services? Can you remember those things that you really felt passionate about that just made you want to get up every day? Because I know you've been at this a while. So.
Yes. Most of the things was cases. I'm most at that time we was drawing up petition, let the lawyer review the case, the petition, and then we had to do the filing. So the important thing was, when people would come into the office, that they had a problem with it. So I enjoyed drawing up a petition and helping them to and file it and helping them to get in court to get their problem solved. I loved that.
I have a sense that you had a good reputation for being very good at that. Were there any cases? I know you mentioned that you were not an attorney, obviously. Were there any cases that sort of stands out that was just important? It's changed the whole climate of how things were in Marshall County or in Lafayette County at the time, even though other lawyers would have taken the case. Do you remember any specific cases that stand out?
The case that really stands out with me was the case that involved a case with the welfare department with that Henry Boyd. I don't know who. I think Lou Myers and Ike Madison and Al Chambers, all of them that had a case against the welfare department there, Social Security office there in Holly Springs.
You mentioned Ike, and you mentioned Al Chambers. Will you talk a little bit about Ike Madison?
Okay, Ike Madison was the master attorney in our Greenville office. But when there's a big case came that a litigation case, Ike was there. Most time he was the counsel, with the attorney that was co-counseling on that case, different cases. And that's one of the cases Ike was involved in.
Did you have any involvement at all with the Ayers case? I know initially.
I didn't have any, I just heard of the Ayers case, and I did a lot of typing on the Ayers case. That's the case was handled by Al Chambers.
Tell us about Al Chambers.
Oh, God. Al is one of the most outstanding person. I tell you, Al is one that would stay up all day and all night and would keep you all day and all night to work on a case. Al was he was important in the community. He was a person that loved his clients. He was a person that would go all the way with a case. He wouldn't just start it, get halfway, and stop on it. No. Al would stay up all night just to get that case solved.
Do you stay in touch with Al? Do you ever?
I don't, because he's out of this town now, and I haven't. I think I heard from Al maybe once or twice. He was here last year, I believe. He was here, yes, and I briefly spoke with him then.
You mentioned most of the attorneys so far have been African American attorneys. Were they European or white attorneys that worked in the office in Holly Springs as well?
Um,
If so, who were they?
I can't remember any white working in Holly Springs.
Okay.
No, I can't remember any white working in Holly Springs.
This is going to be speculative. You know, you talk about the impact that rural legal services has had on the various communities that you've named. Had legal services not existed, had you not been involved in those 49 years, how would North Mississippi look today?
If legal services hadn't existed, there would be plenty peoples out there needing an attorney. They would just be lost. Children probably would be taken from them. Some of them probably had to give their kids up because they couldn't eat. They wouldn't be able to get food stamp or nothing like that, welfare for their kid. So a lot of people would be without their kids, I think, today if it wasn't for legal services.
What about those people that would argue, well, you know, we would leave it up to the private attorney, they would take care of it. All you had to do is just hire your private attorney if you had some
A lot of
issues.
people couldn't hire a private attorney. They didn't have the money to. So legal service was their only source of survival.
Is there anything that overall, after all these 49 years, if you had to do it all over again, would you do it the same or would you do it different?
If I had to do it all over again, I probably would just go on to law school and get my lawyer and be there to help those poor people out there that need help now.
So speaking to the future generation, that's what you're speaking to. That's why we're doing this oral history. What would you say to young people coming along that want to go to Wall Street or want to go and make it to the big law firms and make a lot of money? Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I know. I would suggest that they, start little. If you care about people, the money wouldn't matter. Help somebody that can't afford to help themselves. And if you do that, then God will reward you. You will move on higher.
Anything else you want to share with us?
Just don't forget legal services. There are people out there that need your help. Help them, because I'm trying my best to help. I know we can't help everybody, but the people that I know that I can help, I'm there for them. All they got to do is just call 234-2918, ask for Gloria, and I know how far I can go because I'm not an attorney, but I'm willing to go that level.
So retirement is not on your waterfront?
No, it's not. As long as God give me breath to live and be able to drive from Holly Springs to Oxford, I'm going to work because, I'm helping peoples. And that's what I was doing when Jenny came to the office. I was on the phone with a client.
Jenny, we didn't ask someone. When did you meet Jenny? And describe for us that first meeting you all had.
I don't know when I met her, but it was good. Jenny is a very good person, willing to help you any way she can. And one thing about Jenny, she don't have no color. She help black and white. So I love my Jenny.
She didn't pay you to say that.
No, she didn't. Matter of fact, she done worried me. She didn't, but Jenny know I love her. I love Jenny. Jenny's the type of person that really gets along with everybody. Her attitude is so nice. If you can understand that little soft voice, she's good.
Forget this oversight. That was my issue. I forgot to ask you about your relationship with Ben Cole. I know he's the current director, but this is for the record. So when did you make touch base with Ben Cole?
Well, I don't know the year, but Ben and I go way back because Ben used to be the manager attorney when we was in Holly Springs. Ben was the manager attorney there, and when he left there, he went to Arkansas and to be the manager attorney over there. So I knew Ben for years and years, and we go way back. Ben and I have a good relationship.
Don't y'all share the same county, Ben County?
Yes, Marshall County.
Did you know anything about his family?
His father used to teach me in high school.
Tell us about that.
Mr. Cole, very nice person, quiet, very good teacher. I mean, he teach biology, and he was very good at it, very good. He would make sure that you know that before you leave that room. You had to know something. He would give tests, but he wasn't a person that just strict down on you, but you had to get his work. You got it done. And his attitude was so nice to, you really didn't mind staying over to get your work done. That's just how Mr. Cole was. And Ben is the same way. His attitude is real nice. He's a really good director.